Hey, what's going on? What up? What up? What's good, people? This your boy Elevated Ace, and I'm here to pass down the knowledge of the information that I resonate with to help those that seek spiritual enlightenment. All right. Now, yesterday I dropped a video, and I was telling y'all that I was gonna, touch a little bit on the transits for the day, right? And I believe I was giving y'all my testimony, right? So I was gonna drop it yesterday, but I got tired, man. You know what I'm saying? I ended up, watching Breaking Bad, man. I started to watch that series, and watched a little bit of it yesterday, man. Fell asleep on the damn couch, man. Wasn't even able to get the video out like how I wanted to. I work a first shift job too, man. So I have to be to work so early in the morning sometime that, I hate to stay up, kind of too late and be all tired the next day and stuff like that. So I'm working on that as well, though. Hopefully, not even hopefully. I don't deal with too much about hoping and all that, but one day, I'm gonna have it together the way I make my own schedule. That's what this is all about. But I told y'all I was gonna touch on today's transits, right? Now, remember I was dropped a video about the transits and how the transits work is basically on the influences of the planets and the houses that these planets are in give us certain influences, depending on what house they are in and what sign they're in, right? So, excuse me. So let's break down the houses again real quick. For those of y'all who don't know, the house system basically is the areas of life, okay? You have 12 houses, right? Which is 12 areas of life. If you was to look at it from a broader point of scale of view, right, it'd be 12 slices, right? So we're dealing with the pie chart, you being the dot in the middle. And if you do it the whole 360 turn, you get 360 a 360 point of view, a scope of where you're looking at, right? Until you come all the way back to, that 360 point. So that's the pie wheel. The pie wheel is dealing with the first house all the way around to the 12th house. The 12th house being the last house. That's 360 degrees right there. Okay? Now the house system, like I said, is broken up in 12 parts. The first house gave birth to the constellation Aries. So we call, the first house the sign Aries. Aries was birthed out of the first house. So that constellation Aries, that sign Aries holds qualities of the first house energies, right? So the first house energies are dealing with the personality, dealing with the self, okay? That's the first house energies. That represents the I am, okay? And I'm going to break it down a little bit further for you guys in a bit. I have some notes here. You know how I do with the notes, right? So the first house is dealing with the self. It's dealing with the personality. That's Aries. So Aries share qualities of the first house. So being that Aries was birthed out of the first house energies, then Aries shared the same qualities as far as dealing with the self, right? Dealing with the personality, personal issues, and personal affairs. That's a lot of archetype of Aries energy. Aries is cardinal fire, right? Initiating new ways of seeing and feeling, okay? Now, the second house energies is the second house is Taurus. Taurus is the second house, but the second house gave birth to the constellation Taurus, right? Second house energies deal with your values, where the person, place, a thing. Also, where you plant your seeds at, right? Where you build your self-esteem. Also, what you have to offer to the world, your gift, talents, or traits, all right? These are second house energies. So when you have a planet, as far as today's transits, when you have a planet in that house, which is in that area of life, that planet is giving off that energy, and how it's being influenced, and how the area of life that energy of that planet is giving you is through your values, your personal place of things, and where you plant your seeds at, which is the second house. So let's just say that today, right, dealing with today's transits, right, the sun is in Pisces. So we have the physical sun that you can see right now is in the constellation Pisces. So basically, whoever's a Pisces right now, it's your birthday. You know what I'm saying? The sun came back around. The sun is in Pisces. All right, when we're dealing with the constellations, as far as we know the sun comes up and rises and or seems to rise and fall every day. That's why it takes 30 days for a sun to go through a sign. Remember, I told you a sign is 30 degrees. So it takes 30 up and downs, right, of that sun to move through a sign. So after the 31st day, when it leaves Pisces, right, the sun is going to be going to Aries for the next 30 days. So remember, I told you that we are living inside of a being that is bigger than us. You know, the being that we are living in, right? His chakras are the planets. So basically, the being's consciousness that we're living in right now is the sun. The solar plexus is the sun. So the energies that are at play right now, the energies that are effective is basically the sun. The sun being one of the energies at play is in Pisces. So how this being that we are in is its actions and how it sees things, what its consciousness of is a Piscean type of energy, right? So it shows and expresses itself through a Pisces type of energy. So we've been influenced right now as far as our actions, how our actions look, how you act, your actions, how they look, or how they supposed to look, is they supposed to be brought to you through a Piscean type of way of actions. So mutable water, right? So your actions are being acted upon in a mutable water type of way, in a Piscean type of way, dealing with a broad way of dealing with the feelings and emotions. So if you're not dealing with a broad way of dealing with the feeling and emotions, if you're not acting upon that, then you're going against the energy. The energies that are players, the sun is in a location up there in Pisces, and it's angling to a certain point to where we are getting the feedback of that energies. We are absorbing those energies, and we are acting and reacting to how these energies are at play. So you have the sun is in Pisces for 30 days, 31 days, however long that is, right? Now the moon is this being's and yours at the same time, because you have a moon within you, you have a sun within you as well. The moon is how you respond and react, right? Your moon is your true self. Your moon is your soul. It's your individual spirit, but it's the soul, you know what I'm saying, part of it. It's how you respond and react. It's your true self. It's your moon. Your sun is your actions. Your sun is how you express the moon. You can see, you would have to express your moon through the sun. Don't nobody know who your moon is until you decide to express that and actually, express that to someone, right? So the moon is in Leo right now. When you look up in the sky and you see the moon, that area, that house that moon is in, and the moon only stays into a sign for 2 days. So it's 2 days, the moon is going to leave. So yesterday, the moon was in 12 degrees Leo. Now today, the moon is in 26 degrees Leo. Tomorrow, the moon won't even be in Leo no more. It'll be in Virgo. Okay? Or if we're going counterclockwise, the moon would be in Cancer, okay? Tomorrow. So the energies that are at play now when the moon is in Leo is how you respond and reacting is in a Leo kind of fashion. So you're responding and reacting, or this is how the energies that are at play now. The energies is the moon is responding and reacting in a fixed way of seeing and feeling, because that's what the Leo does. That's what fixed fire does. Fixed fire sees and feels. So the moon is responding to the moon is responding to others in its own way of seeing and feeling. So that's the energies that we're getting right now. So when we're not going along with the energies on how the energies are at play right now by where the planet placement is at throughout today's transits, then basically you're going against the energy. So you're going to be looked at in a negative kind of light. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be looked at as somebody that is just doing a little bit too much. You know what I'm saying? You're not going with the flow. You're going against the grain, against the flow of things, which is the being that we are in. The being that we are in, it experiences and that is it experiencing the information, right, through the light source, through the chakras, get passed down to us secondhand. Okay, so the moon is in Leo right now, so that's the energies that are going on. As far as that's what we're supposed to be responding and reacting to. We're supposed to be responding and reacting to your own and other people's way of dealing with seeing and the feelings. So seeing the feelings, you know what I'm saying? Expressing that. You see the feelings and then you express the feelings. Fire likes to see what it feels and then express that, okay? Now, Uranus, right? And I hate that I put the planets, I should have put them in order as far as how the planets are lined up. But, and also Mars, all right, we're going to skip that. We're going to go straight to Mars, okay? Mars is in Taurus right now. So, you know, the planet influence is that Mars have. Mars has an influence of passion, desires, you know. Let's see what else we can bring up about Mars, because I do have that. And Mars deals with the intent, willpower, passion, desires, motivation. Also, on the flip side of Mars, it deals with anger and aggression. All right? So Mars is in Taurus. Taurus is a fixed earth. So Taurus deals with others in its own way of thinking and being practical. So our passion, right? Our desires, willpower, intent is directed into a Taurus kind of way. That's the kind of energies that we are receiving right now, or that's the kind of energies that are at play right now. So whenever you deal with the willpower, desire, intent, passion, anger, aggression, just know that you're tapping into that planet Mars that's within you, and you're using that chakra wheel for that reason. That's the only time you can deal with aggression, anger, and stuff like that is when you're utilizing the tool, which is a tool within you, Mars. Mars is in Taurus. Taurus is fixed earth, right? Mars is away in Taurus. So that's not a place that Mars likes to be a lot. You know, it's not at home. Mars ain't comfortable there because you got to look at Mars as family members and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So Mars is not too comfortable in that area of life. Taurus, you know, in that constellation, it's away. So it's not that effective. It's not really, you know, it does what it does as far as energy wise, but being that it's away from its home, it's like, all right, let's just say it's at work dolo. You know what I'm saying? My you know, esoteric lawyer dolo, he'll look at it, you know what I'm saying, and be like, all right, yeah, that planet is away. So it's away from home, all right? Let's get to the next one. Uranus. Uranus is in Taurus as well. So Uranus deals with change, rebellion, you know what I'm saying, being unique and original. And it also deals with the, let's see, dreams. What we got here? Yeah, so change, rebellion, opposition, uniqueness, originality. That's what planet Uranus, the energies that influence us from Uranus. That planet right now is in Taurus. Right now, if you was to go online and pull up a transit app where you can follow the transits, because that's how you're able to see where the energies are, and you're able to get ahead of the game by seeing where these planet placements is at. But and also to really figure out how they're affecting you is you got to figure out your birth chart. You got to figure out what's your 360, what's your rising sign. Your rising sign is your first house. My rising sign is Taurus, which makes Taurus my first house. So if I have Mars, right, in Taurus, because Mars is in Taurus, Taurus is my first house. So my willpower, passion, desires, anger, and aggression is right now focused on my personality, personal issues, personal affairs, because that's my first house. But how it's looked at is through a Taurus kind of way. You understand? So you got to break it down like that. I wish I could break it down a little bit more for you guys, but I'm not as good right now as far as, you know, my spirit guide, Dolo. That's why I said go subscribe if you haven't subscribed to his page and all of that. You know, I'm just passing down the information, just passing down the knowledge and able to help others, you know, help those that seek it, you know. So Uranus, planet Uranus is in the constellation of Taurus. Now, where do you have Taurus at in your chart? What's your rising sign? Is Taurus in your fourth house, fifth house, sixth house? If it is, then Mars is there. Just know that that's the area of life that Mars is influencing right now, okay? Jupiter is in Sagittarius. Planet Jupiter is in the constellation of Sagittarius. Jupiter is at home here. It feels good. It's comfortable. It does what it does. You know what I'm saying? So Jupiter deals with basically, let's go back to the chart real quick, right? Because I want to be real exact with this one here. Jupiter deals with meanings, reasonings, broad philosophical views of the world, spirituality and God, wisdom and knowledge. That's all the energy, you know, and the influences that Jupiter has on us. Now, when you pair that up with what house it's in, right? Sagittarius is mutable fire, dealing with a broad way of dealing with seeing and feeling, okay? Dealing with seeing and feelings. It's in a broad perspective, okay? So when you match up the energies, right? You have Jupiter, which is the planet Jupiter, is inside the Sagittarius constellation. What house is Sagittarius in on your chart? Then you can figure out what area of life that Jupiter is having an effect on by knowing what house that it's in. The constellation is basically just how that is being expressed. So Jupiter is expressing itself in your house, whatever area house is that, but it's expressing itself in a Sagittarius kind of way. So if you are not dealing with meanings, reasonings, and broad philosophical views, if you're not dealing with that in a Sagittarius kind of way, in a broad way of dealing with seeing and feeling, like when you you know, just agree, you know, looking at how everybody else is dealing with it. If you just so fixated on your own self of dealing with meaning and reasonings and all that, you're going against the energy. You're going to be looked at a certain kind of way. And not only that, you know, you're probably going to be ended up manifesting, you know, situations for yourself that's not, you know, the best for yourself at that time, right? All right, next we got Pluto and Capricorn, okay? Pluto and Capricorn. So planet Pluto, let me tell you what the energies that Pluto have on us, okay? Pluto deals with power, control, and transformation. That's what that planet brings to us. Whenever you're dealing with power and control, and whenever you want to deal with the transformation aspect of things, just know that you're tapping into that chakra, Pluto, okay, to that planet Pluto. Pluto is in Capricorn. What house do you have Capricorn? That's why I said you have to know your birth chart. Know your rising sign. Know your moon sign. Know your sun sign. When you know your rising sign, you know what your first house is, right? So just say you have a Scorpio rising, right? If your rising sign is Scorpio, Scorpio is your first house. Sagittarius will be your second house. Capricorn will be your third. Aquarius will be your fourth. Pisces will be your fifth. Aries would be your sixth, right? Taurus would be your seventh. Gemini would be your eighth. Cancer will be your ninth. Leo will be your 10th, right? Virgo will be your 11th. And Libra will be your 12th house. That's how this works. So your rising sign is your first house. And whatever your first house is, whatever sign that is, the following sign is the second house. And on throughout that circle, okay? So if you have Pluto in Capricorn, basically the influences are broad. The influences are power and control, transformation, and how that's looked and how that's seen and how that's expressed is through a Capricorn way of dealing with initiating new ways of thinking and being practical, which is cardinal Earth, okay? That's how that's being seen. And Pluto is in 22 degrees of Capricorn, okay? Planet Saturn. Saturn is in Capricorn as well. So you have two planets in Capricorn, in the constellation Capricorn right now. You have two planets. You know, the planets are what influences you, right? The houses are what influences the planets. So the houses are the areas of life. So if you have Capricorn in the fourth house, the area of the fourth house is home, private, family, domestic issues, also where you gain emotional stability. That's the influences. That's the area of life in the fourth house. So when you have a planet in the fourth house, then however that planet, whatever energies that planet have, is influencing that area of your life. So if you have Saturn, right, in the fourth house, then basically you're dealing with Saturn energies in your home, your private, family, domestic issues, also where you gain emotional stability. So if you learn and understand what the energies that Saturn bring to you, and if that planet Saturn is in your fourth house in your birth chart, then now you know what kind of energies that are at play in that area of life, okay? Now, and Saturn being in Capricorn is home. Saturn is home. It feels home in Capricorn. That's where it likes to be at. It's comfortable there, okay? So you're at a little bit of an advantage if you have Saturn in Capricorn, right? If you have if your planet placement places Saturn in your Capricorn, you have a little bit of an advantage, okay? And then you figuring out what house you have Capricorn in tells you what area of life you have an advantage at, okay? Mercury is in Pisces, right? Mercury falls in Pisces. Mercury does not like to be in Pisces. Mercury is asleep. Dolo would say Mercury, because we're dealing with flight astrology. This ain't regular astrology I'm giving you guys here. I'm giving you flight astrology that I learned from my spirit guide, my esoteric lawyer, right? Flight boss, aka Dolo. Now, because I like to give respect when respect is due, and also, you know, if I get the information from somebody, I'm not going to use it, and I'm not going to be, you know what I'm saying, giving you the information like I came up with the information. You know what I'm saying? I'm just passing down the knowledge. That's all, baby. Now, Saturn, Mercury right now is in Pisces, right? So whatever house you have Pisces at, just know that Mercury is there. Mercury also is in retrograde, which means that Mercury appears to be stopped or spinning backwards, right? Which is not, it just appears to be that way because it's so far away at the time. It appears to be that it's stopped, right? And it appears to be that it's rotating backwards. But what the energies of Mercury, and you already know, the influences of Mercury, what the influences of Mercury have on us basically deals with communicating. That's what Mercury does. Mercury communicates. That planet, Mercury, likes to communicate and analyze, right? Communication and analyzing. So when you get Mercury inside of Pisces, depending on what house you have Pisces in, that's the energy that is bringing to the table. But it's in retrograde, which means that the energies are not playing out like they would normally play out on a planet. Being that it's in retrograde means that it appears to be moving backwards, which means that past life experiences are going to come back to either haunt you or you can use it, you know what I'm saying, to your abilities, to the best of your abilities, to make it not so much as a negative influence on you. But normally when a planet's in retrograde, it's looked at as a negative type of thing because that's just bringing your past and normally negative past situations back into your life. People, places, and things. Negative people, negative situation, negative things that come into your life. Also, being that Mercury deals with the communication and analyzing, the home of Mercury is the 11th house. So we're dealing with science, you know what I'm saying? We're dealing with electronics and things like that. Communication is going to be off. You know, when you communicate, and the communication is going to be off because Mercury deals with communicating. Mercury deals with communicating and analyzing. So the communication is off when Mercury is in retrograde. So you got to be well aware and be careful. You know what I'm saying? Double check everything, like your text messages and, also your electronic devices might start messing up on you when Mercury is in retrograde. So pay attention to that. But Mercury is in Pisces, so basically how we thinking, communicating, and analyzing is in a Piscean type of way, which is dealing with mutable water, which deals with, have a broad way of dealing with the feelings and emotions. That's the archetype of Pisces. Pisces is mutable water, okay? And Mercury falls in Pisces, so Mercury does not like to be there. So this would be looked at as a negative planet alignment, all right? Neptune, planet Neptune is in Pisces, okay? Neptune is at home in Pisces. All right, so if you have Neptune in Pisces in your chart, then the energies are at your favor right now, depending on where you are spiritually, okay? Neptune, let's see what we have here. Neptune deals with dreams, illusions, right? Neptune deals with your dreams, illusions, the subconscious, right? Imagination and fantasy. That's in Pisces. It's at home there, so the energy is natural. Pisces deals with that kind of energy, you know. So when you have that planet placement, you can use that energy to your advantage, but just don't get overpowered by it. Like, don't overdo it and overuse it, because then you'll be looked at as, you know, being over aggressive with it. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be getting washed up with the energies if you overdo it. And if you're not going with that, with the energies that are at play right now, if you're not, you know, if your dreams, illusions, your subconscious imagination and fantasies are not looked at in a Pisces type of way, then you're going against the energies, because you're going to be wanting just to do it on how you want to do it, and then you can be washed up in the energies. That's how the energies work. Last but not least, Venus. Venus is in Aquarius. So planet Venus is in the house of Aquarius, okay? So Venus deals with love, appreciation, value, you know, things like that, you know, your self-esteem, you know. These are energies that Venus have on us, okay? It deals with love, appreciation, value, compromising, relativeness. When you have that planet in the constellation Aquarius, then those are the energies that are at play right there. Aquarius is fixed air. Aquarius deals with other people in its own way of communicating, thinking, and analyzing, okay? So you, right now, the being that we are in has a love, appreciation, and a value for thinking, communicating, and analyzing right now. And depending on where you have Aquarius at, what house your Aquarius falls in, that determines on what area of life that this energy is taking place, right? So right now, if you want to ride the wave, you would be loving, appreciating, and valuing other people's in your own way of thinking, communicating, and analyzing at the time. That's you riding, you know, you're riding the wave when you look at it like this. You know what I'm saying? You're going with the grain, not against the grain. So that's pretty much the transits, all right? So every day, you know what I'm saying, pay attention to the transits, pay attention to where these planets are at, because that's how they are influencing everybody at the time. You know, you use the planets as a tool when you be able to look at it from a grander scale, from a level of consciousness, you know, on a higher level of consciousness. You're able to use the planets as a tool and not let them use you. You know what I'm saying? Not let them have you get out of character and all worked out and shit. You tapping into all your chakras and shit and using all kind of different chakras and stuff. Not even at your own will, but at the will of other people provoking that up out of you, okay? So that's it, man. I'm going to touch a little bit more on it, you know, and try to be a little bit more clearer with it. But, you know, I'm just starting to do these videos, you know what I'm saying? And I'm learning to get comfortable with it. And, yeah, so that's it, man. I don't know what the next video going to be about, but it's going to be about something, and y'all going to get it soon, all right? Peace.